And then, so he said, oh, the lore justified Yuki being a legendary blader. So I was like, Yuki, legendary blader? More like legendary lamer. Am I right? Metal Fusion fans, do you love me yet? Yeah, that joke will get old. Okay, next one. Hey, why was Fi and Phoenix a defensive type blader and blade? The reason? He was too chicken to fight the legends without using his brother as a shield. Okay. One more. What do you call a character whose losses make sense for the story that they're in, but the community takes the context out of it time and time again to push an agenda? A fraud! This is funny and original, right? All right. One more. What do you call feathers about to split off and die into the ashes? The following account for this channel if I don't get to the point of this video. So, BIP of Bizarre Angels Productions, and finally, Phoenix Flare has been announced. Not gonna lie, I'm not sure when you're gonna get this video. I plan to release it early in the morning, but you can clearly tell since the start of January, I've been a bit more tired than usual. So I need to get my head in the game regarding all aspects of life. But this announcement has been something we've been expecting for quite some time. And it has been worth the wait in some regards because the new Beyblade Phoenix Flare is on its way. Can't believe I wrote a right in the script. Or should I say Phoenix Flare W9-80WW. Wait, what's the full term? Phoenix Flare W980 Wall Wedge, which is going to be released as a booster in Japan on January 2026 for 1,700 yen. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a difference between booster and random booster, correct? And its CX blade is particularly CX12. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the order of the CX blades in terms of releases has been like... So, Valkyrie Revolt was first alongside Leon Fang for CX0, then 1 was Drawn Brave, 2 was Wizard Arc, 3 was Perseus Dark, 4 was the battle entry, so let me know what was in that one. Hell's Reaper was 5, I'm surprised it wasn't a random booster, because I was told that random boosters are for side characters, while the big major characters get full entries in boosters. 6 was Foxbrush, 7 was Pegasus Blast, 8 was Cerberus Flame, 9 was Solar Eclipse, 10 was Wolf Hunt, 11 was Emperor Mites. So glad that Burns line gets to finally be added to that collection. Now, the most interesting aspect of this for me is the type, since turns out I actually predicted this was going to happen. Yeah, remember back on October 10th, Naruto's birthday, when I made a What Should King and Burns New Beyblade Type be? Oh wait, you don't because I only got 200 views on it and only 3 people commented on it? That's okay. Let me use that video as a refresher. Basically, my argument at the time was that based on Season 1, Burn had Phoenix Feather and then Phoenix Wing, both of which were attack types that he used frequently to the point that he was still using it in Season 2 and continued to use it in Season 3 to the point where even the villains used it against him. Then in Season 2, he used Phoenix Rudder, which was a stamina type, which wasn't used as much, but was still pretty viable because they do have to promote the show regardless, and there was a new toy out for the new season. So, of course, it would make sense that they would have attack and stamina. The question on my mind was that if they were switching up Burn and King's Beyblade's types every time, if we were getting a 3rd or potentially 4th season, what would the new types be? Basically, if you watch it, depending on if I put the clip in the video, I did say that I think that the options would either have to be defense or balance. And it makes sense. Because, you know, we already used 2 out of the 3. Let's use the other ones. Now, I know fact checking is just as impossible as it is to avoid someone talking about which legendary bladers should have been legendary bladers in the Metal Saga, but I did say that it could have been either defense or balance, and I know my final argument was that I think balance would make the most sense. I did say balance type would fit Burn if it was the final season and the culmination of all of his projects that he's researched up to this point. But I did say that there was a valid argument to be had for him using a defense type. Because yes, I do know I'm going to overlap with Phoenix and Garuda in this one, but we already had like Phoenix in the Metal Saga use a stamina type, but we also had Garuda in the Metal Saga use Guardian Garuda, which was a defense type. I doubt Garuda's gonna get an upgrade because usually they have like a set of characters or types of Beyblade lines that will continue to get new upgrades in future seasons, and it looks like they're sticking with Phoenix as that one instead of Garuda, so you don't have to worry about Garuda replacing Burn. Although I don't think they were going to do that in the first place, but after what happened in the Burst Saga when we had legacy characters, I know people are going to kind of flip, so yeah. But I can hear some people arguing that defense makes the least amount of sense because, at least with stamina, Phoenix kind of resembles the fact that even if you hurt a Phoenix, it could always revive from the ashes. Phoenixes are usually revived for their high amounts of flame and power and abilities, and they're also pretty durable in some regards, but most people tend to focus on the first two. So the question is, would defense really make sense? Then I have a counter argument to that question. What season of Beyblade X are we on? The answer is 3, clearly, right? What season did the Burst Saga have a Phoenix in? The first one. Oh, right, season 3. Who showed up in season 3 again? Right, the main antagonist, Phi. How many times did Phi lose a battle? You're gonna probably say twice, but the answer is 3 times. Remember, he threw the fight against Ranjiro and Kyle. He lost to Aiga with the Dark Power in episode 29, and then he lost to Aiga at the end when Aiga actually finally matured as a character at that point. So, yeah, it kind of makes sense that the 3rd season of Beyblade X would have the Phoenix Beyblade represent the 3rd season of Beyblade Burst. And you can't even use the argument that, oh, it was just a one-time thing, because Burst had 3 Phoenix lines: Revive Phoenix, Dead Phoenix, and Prominence Phoenix. And Revive speaks for itself. Like, it almost never lost a fight unless it either was chose to or was going up against Dark Power. Dead Phoenix was just extremely hard to beat and literally defeated Hearts, Free, and Shu back to back to back. And then even in Dynamite Battle with Prominence, while it wasn't as prominent in the story as everyone would like it to be, Phenomenal defeated almost every single blader he went up against except for Rashad. And even then, unlike most people in that season, he actually got a point off Rashad, which you kind of have to give him credit for. All of these guys and all of those Blades were some of the toughest opponents for anyone in those seasons to go up against. Now, despite the fact that I keep constantly saying this, some of you guys are going to question how come I'm not talking about the competitive viability. And it's not that I don't want to be interested in that. In fact, I was going to actually ask you guys, hey, competitively, how good is this fair? Because I don't always like to rely on the anime to know about how it works in real life, but since the anime is trying to be as realistic as possible, let me know what are the advantages that this one could have, because I've been seeing a lot of discourse about the types, its abilities, and whether or not it'll be good, because I've been hearing like it's a defense type that does better with stamina than certain other stamina types, which you would think just because I watched the anime I wouldn't know that. But considering how many powerful defense types have there been in the anime to the point where we had at least 3 seasons where defense type bladers were the main antagonists, I kind of would buy it based on if you guys were telling me that it was also kind of true in real life. It's just funny how the cookie crumbles. Now, the big thing everyone's been wondering about is, well, Burn's gonna get this Beyblade and will he be a fraud? First of all, the Burn fraud accusations are pretty stupid. Like, everyone knows that all of Burn's losses that he's got recently are like actually deserved. Like, he didn't just lose it for the sake of losing. Second, I did talk about this before when I was catching up with X, but I did point out that they were kind of alluding to the fact that Burn might actually join the Karasu family, or at least align himself. Or he may have a crisis of fate that will encourage him to make that decision. And I'm not entirely sure who would he go up against, because they haven't introduced any of the siblings yet. So if Burn stays on the side of the pro bladers, I could see him using Phoenix Flare to take on one of the Karasu members. The question is, I'm not sure if it's going to be an older member or a newer member, since I feel like if it was going to be a older member, the anime wouldn't have had 5, 3, 4, and 8 get it targeted by all the pro bladers and multi. If he is joining the Karasu family, then the question becomes which hero is going to have to take him on. Because Burn with a new Beyblade is not someone that anyone can just easily beat in a fight. Like, remember, Rudder got beaten by Tenka and Karuda, he even knew that Karuda was stronger than him. So it's not going to be some easy feat to just beat Burn. And if he has a new Beyblade, it's going to be interesting to see what path will he take. But I gotta go. You let me know all your thoughts below, and I'll see you all in the next one. BIP for Productions, signing off.